Hello, my name is Evan, and this is a everything I have ever knitted video. Except we're only talking about garments, but leaving socks to another day. I've been knitting for about 3 years, fully free school. I must admit, I thought I had more, but I don't. There are 2 garments missing from this pile that I gifted, but yeah, we'll talk about what we have. We'll just start because I don't have much to say. This is the first episode I knitted. I had an art project and we had to do a 3D item, and I hated working with clay and didn't want to do anything with cardboard or wood at the time. So I remembered I could knit something. I have knitted before all of this, but this was the first time me knitting a garment. So this is a cardigan of mine. This is the back. It's a bit more interesting. Here's the front. I haven't weaved in any of these ends. I just chopped them. It's my first ever garment, and it is just squares. I decided to knit a whole lot of squares and have little patterns on them. The whole artwork was about how you can reflect yourself in your clothes. Whatever. I just wanted to knit this for myself pretty much. That's why it happened. But yeah, I'll put it on. It's not the most comfortable thing. It is mostly acrylic. Yeah, for most of these garments, I don't have the materials or what they were made out of. Either they were secondhand yarn or bought with no tag because I'd buy value packs. But yeah, this is a mix of secondhand yarn, and some I bought just for the project to get it done. But yeah, I learned intarsia for this as my first project, but it was all just little squares. I was just knitting squares. I was basing it off a lot of cardigans everyone was making because of Harry Styles. I don't listen, but there was this big trend of everyone crocheting cardigans. And I was like, I could maybe make a garment with a load of squares. At the time, I didn't know anything about Raglans or drop shoulders or whatever. But yeah, here it is. I'll show you all the pictures. I made all the charts myself using, I think, Excel, and just kind of trying to get it right. But yeah, it worked out really well. It was such an rewarding experience. This took me forever. I'm pretty sure it's knitted on 3mm needles because that's what I owned at the time. I didn't even have 4mm needles. So it's knitted on quite a small gauge and makes a very dense fabric. I also didn't know how to do rib because I was looking at crochet videos. So I found a knit texture with a purl and knit stitch. Goes sideways, so you knit it that way and then it goes around, and then I have to seam it in because I didn't know how to do rib. But yeah, the fit's not the greatest. I think it's really cute. It is very warm. The fabric is really dense. It's a bit more like a jacket than a cardigan. I did knit the entire rib band for the outside of it and I never put it on, so that's why it curls, which really pisses me off with this pencil design that I was really proud of. That's really good. For first time knitting properly and trying to make a garment. These images are lovely. I was having so much fun. That's what really inspired me to knit. It was, I can make images. I can make my own clothes. I can make things look the way I want to. I actually wanted this to be an autumn color scheme, but this is what I owned at the time, was pinks and blues, so yeah. Then my friends joked because I wore it on we had a pride day at school and I wore it to that. And everyone was like, oh, it's like the trans flag. And I was like, yeah, it is. Which made sense for me. But yeah, that's my cat. We got pets on here. So this is Jasper. You might see him in some videos. Down here is Izzy, my dog. If you hear barking, that's her. And then my old kitty. I'm pretty sure I tried to represent him in here. His name was Oscar. He passed away, but he was 20, so it's okay. But yeah, it's one of my favorite knits still. I don't wear it very often. It's a bit of a statement piece, but honestly, most of my knits are. But yeah, let me look. We got a moon and stars. You can see that. We have a crow. I was really proud of this. Very Monument Valley, that video game inspired. I love that. We have storm cloud. Like, this is what I did when I didn't know, but I wanted to do color work. I made this pattern, which then inspired my next sweater. So we'll talk about that in a moment. We got the pencil I showed. We have Saturn. I thought that was really cool. Oh, here's Oscar. So that's my 20-year-old cat. He was a gray and whitey. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's all of it. But yeah. Oh, there's a mountain. Oh, the mountain. I think that was one of my first ones, which I think was a good starting point for intarsia. You can see a lot of mistakes. My seaming is terrible on this. I'd never seamed before, and it took forever. I would never knit a sweater like this again. At least I'd make the squares bigger or something, but I'm really proud of it. I get a lot of compliments when I wear it. People thought it was bought when I first knitted it, so I was quite shocked. I love this pink, it's so bold. I found that and was like, it needs to go in the sweater, and that's why this is pink as well now. But yeah, it had a life, no weaved in ends. It's all handmade love, and I'm not gonna go back and weave in ends. This has been here for 3 years. It doesn't need weaved in ends anymore. But yeah, oh, there's a whale. He's a little funky, but there he is. But yeah, I'm really proud of this. It fits really well. I really like it a lot. Yeah, I haven't got anywhere I can put the camera up higher, so this is our best option today. And yeah, it's really good. For a first ever sweater, I love it. I wish it was softer. I wish a lot of things I didn't know at the time. Things like fibers and stuff, no idea. I literally just knitted this based on whatever information I could find. And I was a very slow learner in knitting, I think. A lot of time. There's a rain cloud. Yeah. But yeah, I love this guy. I'll put some photos of me wearing it if I can find any. Or I'll take some with outfits I actually wear with, because obviously I don't wear it with this t-shirt and shorts. It's just too hot to put anything that I normally wear these sweaters with on. But yeah, I'm really proud. So my next sweater was inspired by learning that color work. And pretty much this is two-stranded color work. It's not intarsia, but it was from me learning intarsia that I somehow learned two-stranded color work. Pretty much I realized I could create floats and not have to swap balls for small gaps. Didn't make sense. And here it is. I love this guy. It is literally 2 squares and then a decreased square and another decreased square. And I love this guy. I just hate the fiber and wish that I knew how to construct a sweater properly. But my color work was getting there. It was very rough. I had not watched a video on color work yet, except for the intarsia one, so that's what it is. This fiber was a random on special in Spotlight. Like, you could get a whole bag, like a value pack for it, but I had no tag on it. These are like, they sell occasionally like color sets. I didn't use every color from the color set. I think I chose these colors pretty much. But yeah, they're acrylic. This acrylic is a lot softer and nicer, also pills a lot. This yarn, it irritates my neck so badly. It has these fibers that come off. I can't tell if you can see it, but all of these fibers, right? They're so itchy. But I liked the marble look of the yarn. I bought it and came up with this sweater. It is one of my most complimented sweaters. It is the one though where people go, oh, did you make that? You can tell. But yeah, I'll put it on. It's very warm. It was knit on 5.5. I don't know if you can hear me. 5.5 millimeter needles. And yeah, it's warm. I wore it a lot in the UK, but I think it's so like, oh my gosh, my hair is gonna go crazy. But it's very me. Like, this is a sweater I wear a lot. Do not wear it with these shorts, but I love it so much. I have photos of this. I'll put them up, but yeah, this sweater is one of my most worn sweaters, I think, because it was so early in my knitting process and worn a lot. I take it to the UK. I love it. None of the ends of weed fit in on this either, but I don't care. My problem is this neck. It's really itchy and it sits really high. I was like really thought the mock necks were so cute, and then I like tried to make one and I was like, oh, actually, I want this not to be right there. But yeah, and these are just 2 squares. Also, the arms are like disproportionately wide compared to the sweater body, which isn't crazy wide. And there's no give under the armpits either, because I didn't pick up stitches, I seamed it here. But yeah, this is the sweater that if this thing gets trashed, which it will, it's not gonna last forever, sadly, even though the acrylic will, which really sucks, but I will reknit this sweater. I will find yarn and reknit this sweater. I will knit it with a better construction as well, because I love it. I love it so much. I was so proud of it, and the color work. It was smart because I knitted this at school. I would knit in classes, and I didn't have to worry about too many balls for that long. Yeah. There's no pattern. This is just me experimenting pretty much, but you can probably see the stitch pattern there. Pretty much a zigzag. The 2 colors, breaking them up. This is like my Crayola sweater. It shouts like crayon. And yeah, I get a lot of compliments on it. And I love it. I love it a lot. But yeah, I will reknit this sweater one day. Oh. I don't know why I'm trying the sweaters on. Also, my head has grown since I've knitted this sweater, I believe. Because that seam I did, so tight. I found it hard to take off. But I've grown. Okay, the next 2 items I don't have with me, so I'll put a photo up. One is a sweater vest that I knitted with leftovers. I bought like 2 of these packs, and then I used the leftovers in that. And it was me being inspired by some like really funky vests I was seeing, and I was like, oh, I should knit a vest. It fit me at the time, and then I grew just a little bit, and it was not comfortable anymore. Like, it was just too small. I gifted it to a friend like last year. She loves it. She wears it all the time. I'm so glad. It is some of my worst color work, I think. Like, it noticeably does that from where the color work tightens and there's normal fabric. So I don't know. I really like the idea of it. I wore it once, and I haven't knitted a sweater vest since. I tried to knit a sweater vest, which you'll see, but I turned into a sweater because I realized how much I don't wear them. But it was an experimental piece, and it's getting worn. I've seen her wear it way more times than I have, 4 or 5 now, and we're not even in uni yet, so I'll see her soon, and maybe she'll be wearing it. But yeah, that was really cool. And the other sweater I knitted around, I think exactly the same time, give or take. This is mostly in chronological order, by the way, but give or take, however. But it was a cotton sweater with another of those value pack bags, no tape label. And I did have yarn left over, except I gifted it to a friend because they really like the color. It was like this variegated yellow, and I pretty much did the construction of this one on that, trying to fix a few things. It was still me, just making squares. That was easy to knit. I didn't know what I was doing. I discovered circle and needles by this time, but I'm pretty sure it's still all knit flat. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one is. But I had to go duplicate stitching some flowers on, hated it. The process wasn't fun. And then I wore it once and decided it wasn't my color. I like yellow, but it's a Pacific yellow. And this had a lot of variegated yellow. So I reached out to friends and was like, who wants this? And a friend took it. And it fits in perfectly because I made it too big for me as well, like absurdly too big. I should have a photo of me wearing it and a photo of it off, if I can find it. But yeah, it's gotten a lot of love now. I have a photo of me and my friend wearing it, but I won't post that. But yeah, it's one of those sweaters that was a learning process and pissed me off because I didn't wear it. And then when I finally gave it away, it made me so happy. I think gifting things I don't like is a good idea. Even if I have to wait like 6 months before I gift it so I can process that it wasn't a waste of time. But it isn't when you're gifting a present. So I don't know why I felt like that. The next one I have here, it is this cardie. This cardie was me going, I want a project for the weekend. I bought 1 ball of yarn, or I think it was 2 balls of yarn of this, which was a merino acrylic tweed. I don't have the tags. Again, I think this is 2 years ago now. Don't have the tags, but I really liked tweed in it. And these are some leftovers from before I was even knitting. Consistently when I'd op shop as a kid and be like, I want yarn, and knit for 2 weeks and then never pick them up again. And I believe this is when I figured out, no, I didn't. That seamed. I'm not knitting in the round. I don't know why. I mean, it's a cardigan, so the body isn't. But yeah, I wore this so much. This is one of my most worn of my early knits because I could throw it on almost anything. Maybe not this shirt, but almost anything. And I would wear it. And I was really into high waist stuff, so it was cropped and cute. Not with this though. But yeah, I will find some photos of me wearing it or gain some. But I adore this. I have a painting that I did with me in this sweater because I just loved it so much. And I've been to events in it, like fancy events, because I thought, oh, it's quite formal. I made it. It's not. I can't still seem to figure out how to get rib to sit on the outside of the cardigan, not curl in. I think this is a case of the acrylic mixed with wool. Wasn't smart, but here we are. But it's just it's again a square, 2 rectangles, and then some decreased rectangles I've sewn together. I've worn it a lot. I love this detail of the yellow has the gray and then the maroon has the black. I get a lot of compliments on this one. I wore it so much. This is also when my tension started getting good. So that was very exciting. And yeah, I did not knit this in a weekend, by the way. It took me a lot longer, but I believe I knit the body in the weekend. But that was a lot better. Hold up, I can get a lot closer, can't I? Than what my knits were before. Probably because it was wool. I should have learned that. But I didn't. Yeah, this is one of my most worn sweaters. I've kind of knitted a longer dupe of this. Not a dupe. I'll show it in a minute. But I love it. It's so good. I don't wear it that often because I've gone off wearing high-waisted pants. I think I find them too hot occasionally. But whenever I do, this guy comes out. So yeah, he's one of the most worn. He's also really thin. I could wear it even in spring here, which is 20 degrees, stuff like that, which is good because I live in a hot climate. And those 2 last ones that I own still, I can wear them in the middle of winter and that's it. So not the particularly practical ones. Now, this sweater we're about to talk about is one of my favorites. We were in Europe and I decided I wanted to knit a holiday sweater. And this is when I learned about Raglans. Exciting stuff. This is based off a YouTube video. I will find the link and link it down below. I honestly wouldn't use that pattern again. I find it's not the great, I don't know. I think there's better ways to divide the stitches up for a raglan. This is divided like it's a square. So even for the arms and the front, if you can see, that's a square. Which I don't think it's perfect. I think you need less stitches on the arms and more on the body before starting the raglan. But I shouldn't complain. It fits me lovely. There's no short rows or anything. And I don't know what the yarn's called. I'm pretty sure it was a baby acrylic. It was cheap. I was in Europe and things were expensive. This was bought in France. And this was knitted entirely on trains. And I love it. I designed the sweater after getting the yarn. And this is one of my most worn sweaters. I wear it almost every other day when it gets cold. I don't know, it's one of my faves. The colors, I get so many compliments. I've been asked where to buy it, and then me having to explain that you can't buy this unless some store stocks something similar. But yeah, the raglan, I feel like it really works for me. I think it shapes me really nicely. Yeah, this was knit on 4mm needles. I think the last cardigan was also knit on 4mm needles. But yeah, my tension was nice. The stripes, the colors. I will knit this again if I have to. I don't think I will. This acrylic is holding up really well. This is not being shaved, by the way. There is definitely pilling, but it's not being shaved and it's acrylic. And I've worn this so much. Like, here's some of the pilling that I get. And honestly, I could just use a shaver. I just can't be bothered. I have one, got gifted one. But yeah, I recommend raglans. I don't know why I started with all those squares. This is the best sweater that I had made. I have a couple I'd say are maybe better, but I wear this so often. I think it's very me. The color's perfect. I don't know. This one makes me so happy. And yeah, I finished this in the airport in the UK, Heathrow, heading back to Australia. I had to ask the manager for scissors, because you're not allowed scissors in the airport, to chop the final yarn on the sleeve, which was really funny. And then I got to try it on. And then I weaved in my ends while I was jet lagged, which has led to some of them sticking out. I also didn't know how to do jointless stripes. So there's very much a joint at the back. There is no front or back on this sweater, but I actually don't mind the high neck. It's definitely not crazy comfortable, but I think it suits me, so I don't mind. But yeah, I don't know what to say. It's lovely. I love this blue at the top and then red and the yellow. It's one of those sweaters that makes you happy. And I knitted it in like 6 weeks, which was like really fast, I thought, for like a 4mm sweater, needle sweater. It's not, but I was proud of it. That was traveling constantly as well. But yeah, first one I ever weaved in my ends. Was that proud? I had started watching like knitting proper YouTube by this time, and I was like, oh, I should like weave in my ends and do all these things that these people talk about. But yeah. One of my favorite sweaters of all time. I don't know. I say try a Raglan. If you're gonna knit your first ever sweater, start with a Raglan. It's easy. Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the circles. It's fine. You'll get something great out of it. But yeah, I'll find photos of me wearing this. I have a Pacific trouser combo I wear. It's like one outfit that I wear all the time with this. And I love it. But yeah. Gone from a really big win to kind of a loss. Not a loss in like a bad way. This sweater is now on 4mm again, and was my attempt at a drop shoulder in the round this time. It was meant to be a vest, that's why. But then I didn't like it as a vest, and then went back and added sleeves later. It is using, I think they're like cakes, Creole cakes. But yeah, they're quite popular. At least like I see them a lot in Spotlight, and I have a lot of friends who will buy them for me. But yeah, let me put this on. Oh, that's the back. I dropped a stitch for the first time in this sweater. And it's like very obvious. And I've never weaved it in. But it's like not a proper drop stitch, like it's caught and stuff, but it's like the ugliest thing ever. But here we are. Okay, my problems with this sweater. I did not leave enough room for armholes. Look at how thin these arms are. Like, if the rest of the sweater was also figure tucking, it'd be fine, but it's not. Also, I knitted originally this sweater ending here at this pink bit, and then the ribbing was here. I then went back, chopped my sweater in half, and Kitchener stitched it. I can definitely feel the Kitchener stitch, but you can't see it too badly. I mean, like, there is a full color change, but like, it's between that pink and green, but you can't like, it's not like it's seen too much. I just don't think, also I had so many problems with the collar. It wouldn't go over my head. I don't know. I just don't think it's very flattering. The ribbing I made too big as a way of trying to make the sweater longer when I hadn't done this chop thing, and it rides up because of it. And it's not like it's wool, so I can block ribbing out. I really like the colors. I was gifted this yarn, one cake for my birthday, and then I bought another to make the sleeves work out. And like, I feel like I just need to suck it up and frog this one. But I don't want to waste acrylic yarn, because in my head that's worse than wasting wool, because environmentally it shouldn't go to waste. Like, that's terrible. It's not going to biodegrade. And like, it feels nice. It's not a terrible feel. So this is the thought of a reknit. I either do a Raglan or find a pattern for a drop shoulder I like. Because this isn't it. My mum really likes it. I've wear it quite a lot. I can probably find some photos of me wearing it in some nice outfits, but it's just, it never sits right. And these arms are like I have thin arms, right? But like, it's not helping the fact my arms look skinny. And then this makes me look big around my tummy, which isn't, I want it to be consistent at least, but it's not. But yeah, one of those sweaters that don't regret at all, but I might reknit. I have a whole half cake left. Sorry, the dishwasher's going off if you can hear beeping. But yeah, so this is a thought. I have 2 sweaters on the go right now, and I have nothing planned afterwards. And I'll probably find something I want to knit. But that will stop me knitting like a brand new sweater and just make this one better. Might be smart. Because, like, look, you can see how stretched these stitches are. I did pick them up. I did think about I could just like cut and open and make new stitches, but I have so many problems with the rib. I also did a normal cast off. There's no stretch here. And it's not comfy. I also didn't weave the ends in because I didn't like it. You can tell that I wasn't happy with it. I like the colors. I think they suit me. This is the amount of brown that suits me, I think. But I don't think it looks good on me. I'm thinking that I love how a raglan looks with this like almost hexagon shape, and trying to do that with this self-striping yarn. This is all self-striping, by the way. That's why stripes are all different sizes on the sleeves to the body, which is also something I'm like, I don't really love the look of, but also I don't mind it. I think I wouldn't mind it if I made it a sweater I like the feel of, which involves me re-knitting it. So that's what's going on with this sweater. It is finished for now. He may come back. But yeah, you can tell I didn't like him enough. I didn't weave in the ends. But yeah, he was meant to be a sweater vest, and then I didn't wear him, so I put sleeves on him. And that didn't work. So it's not just a sweater vest problem, I think. I think it's a few problems in the construction of the sweater. Maybe I should just follow the pattern, which is something I started to learn to do. Not yet, though. Okay, this is like a sweater that took me 10 months. I was in grade 12, which is like our final year with a lot of assessments, at least in Queensland. So this took a while. This is inspired by the Lydia Makes sweater, like one of her sweaters. It's like the swiggly one. She has like a set of 3. I don't remember the name of the sweater, but the like swiggly one. And I wanted it in a cardigan. So this is it. It is, I think, fully made out of acrylic. And it's so good. It took me so long. The swiggles were a headache. And I don't think I'd ever recommend anyone do color work in acrylic. It doesn't block out. There's still a bit of a bump to it. But I'm so proud of this. This is a 4mm needles again. It is a top-down raglan. I used the same raglan counts as this and learned I shouldn't have done that very quickly. There is a reason there's a hood on this sweater. I believe the raglan ends there, and it was like the highest neck possible, and it didn't sit right. It looked like there was a weird collar. So what I did is I extended that collar to create a hood. The hood technically fits on my head, but I don't think it looks very good. It is literally there to make the collar sit nice. And I think this is like my Spider-Verse sweater. I went and saw Spider-Man in it, the Spider-Verse series movies, because it's like the senses, what they did for the animation with the senses. I'm an animation student, so I nerd about that stuff. And I love this. And that wasn't purposeful, but I always joke if I had a Spider-Man sewer, this is what I'd wear on my day-to-day. Yeah, I did the raglan in a contrast color. I was really proud of that. This blue was a value pack. This red was op-shopped. And then I found an acrylic dupe that looked exactly the same to finish it, because I did not have enough. Yeah, this took me 10 months. I must admit, I did knit the entire of this sweater in between. So, not really 10 months, but it was on the needles for months. And I love it. It's one of my proudest sweaters. I'm leaning so much because I can't get the camera to sit right today. But yeah, and everyone really likes that with the hood, you can see the floats. And the floats look really nice. I'll show the floats a bit closer. Take this off. There they are. They look great. I was so proud of this. I wear this quite a lot. Whenever I wear anything red or blue, mainly red, like this t-shirt gets weared with this a lot. But yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's very thick, but I purposely chose a cardigan, not the sweater, because at least if it's a cardigan, it's more like a layering piece. I find it easier not to get as hot in, and it has worked for that. And I just love it. It made me fall in love with color work a lot more. I really like, I think, an overall pattern. And it's just so bright and insane. Like, it has that crazy, vibrant feel. And I get a lot of compliments when I wear it. They're like, you knit that? Yeah, it took me 10 months. But it was worth it. The ribbing's knit on, I think, 3.25 millimeter needles. That's what I had. It honestly goes with the higher tension of the color work. So that worked out. That's a problem. I had a lot of issues with weaved in ends poking out in this sweater. So yeah, but I don't care. I love this so much. It was a win after the failure of the first sweater. And I wear it tons. It's also huge. It's big. These sleeves are like almost balloon sleeves. Sorry, dishwasher. But these sleeves are like almost balloon sleeves because I didn't decrease fast enough. But decreasing is something I had to learn, I think, through patterns, not through trial and error. But I also did, I picked up and knitted, doubled the knit or the edges. You can't see that when I wear it because it likes to fold in. Even though I ironed it to try and flatten it out, it still didn't work. But it works when you have the hood on, so that's good. But yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorites, and it's my Spider-Man sweater, in my opinion. If I go to any Spider-Verse movies, I wear it. More good ones, in my opinion. This is my great-grandma's yarn. My first almost fully wool sweater. There's a tiny bit of acrylic in this white color, the creamy color, but let me put it on. I love this sweater. I wear it all the time. This is, I knitted this year, not this year, last year. And all my friends were wanting to hear updates about this sweater because when I started knitting it, it was just going to be a plain green sweater. And then I decided to take this flower motif that I've seen on another sweater. There's a full sweater covered in this flower motif. But also I've seen the motif in store-bought sweaters. So anyway, the Raglan pattern I followed, I'll link down below. It's a free one. I think if you literally Google free Raglan pattern, it's one of the first ones that pop up. And the fit is lovely. I think I look so good when I wear it. And the flowers. Oh. This was my first time ever blocking a sweater and it doing anything because it's wool. You don't need to block acrylic, guys. It doesn't work. It was one of the best experiences ever. I don't know what this wool is at all, which really annoys me. It's my great-grandma's wool, and I love it. The only thing is, it pulls quite a bit, and it peels white. It's a green sweater, but it peels white. Very strange. I think I saw Florence talk about a wool that peeled a different color to her sweater. It was like a cream sweater that peeled white. So maybe it's the same yarn. I don't know. When I got this yarn, it had been balled up, hand wined, just little balls of it. And I still have quite a bit left. I think 500 grams left. But yeah, I really love this sweater. It feels very delicate to me. The rib up here is kind of holy, even though I'm pretty sure I went down needle size for it. But yeah, I love it. I wear it all the time. I don't have much to say about it, but it's amazing. I think it's amazing. But here's the flower motif. I don't know if you can see that before. It's a very common one. But yeah, I just put it on the bottoms of the sleeves. I can't let myself just knit a plain sweater, apparently. I need to have something else. And I don't regret it. I wore this to a formal event. I got like an artwork in the Brisbane Portrait Prize, which I was really proud of. I wore it to that. So I'll probably put that photo up. And I don't know, this is one of my proudest knits. I think I look great and I feel great in it. Also, the color suits me and I didn't think it would. But it was like maybe too pale for me. And yet I get a lot of compliments on it. Everyone loves the color. And my grandma was a beige lady, so I was so surprised when I found this in her stash. But yeah, favorite sweater. Makes me so happy. I love the sleeves. This is how I want sleeves to be. Perfectly like, there was like really rapid decreases and then like really nice straight sleeve. I love it. I wear it all the time. I don't know what to say. It's a basic ass raglan with a little bit of color work, and yet it's amazing. I think it's also a feel thing. It's made of wool. It's so soft. It's not itchy. It's not an itchy wool. And it's also so much more breathable. Like, even on hot days, I can still get, like, I'm not sweating in it. So, yeah. I had one issue with this sweater, is I tried to do an Italian bind-off for, like a sewn bind-off for the bottom rib. It worked on the sleeves, but when I did it, it left it like this whole tightening thing. And I remember weaving in the ends loosely, but it then coming out like this. So, pardon me. Yeah, that wasn't that great. And I did short rows and realized how actually not hard they are. Like, I think it's just the raglan bit that's hard with a short row, but actual short rows, sorry, it's the wool probably. It's like probably irritating my nose. But the actual short row turns are very easy, I think. I think everyone can have a go at a short row. It's not too hard. It's just getting that backwards increasing done. It's really tricky. But yeah, I don't know. I think everyone needs a simple raglan in their life with a little bit of fun. And just knit things with wool. I'm learning, I promise. It took me this long. It feels so much better. It's better for the environment. And yes, it did involve me having to wait for free wool to come my way from my great grandma. But now I see the worth of buying wool instead of paying cheap because I couldn't afford it. I was also like working on pocket money for all of these sweaters, so you can see why they were made of acrylic. But it's a dream to hold. I love it so much. Okay, this is the final sweater I finished. I have in my head that there's more out there, but I realized that there's a lot of whips that just haven't been finished. Maybe we'll talk about that another day. We're definitely doing a sock video before that, but yeah, so this is the last finished sweater I ever knit. This is a cardigan. It is the step-by-step cardigan by Florence Knits Knits? I forgot her last name. I'm terrible. But I love it. The fit's so perfect. I wear this all the time. It is one of those sweaters I wear all the time. It fits so nicely. I knitted it quite long. I wanted it to go over long t-shirts, and it just goes over this one. Oh, quite a bit. Yeah. This bit is some hobby acrylic yarn I bought ages ago. And this green color, brown, and the deeper black in the border was a bag from the op shop, and it was wool. I believe there was a tag that said it came from Limcraft, but they do not stock this yarn anymore. It does not exist. But I was obsessed with the green, and I ran out of the hobby yarn and decided, well, we'll just split and match it. And honestly, it goes with enough of my clothes that it doesn't bother me. And it's like a subtle green. I'm obsessed with it. I'd have a whole sweater in this green. The brown, actually, I really liked as well. It's very nice. I hope you can see that it's brown. And then the black. This one's a bit shinier. I wanted it to be an off black, but then having the pure black next to it, I think makes it look really good. And I got some buttons from Landcraft. They're not special, but this was my first time actually sewing and putting buttons on a sweater. So this is it buttoned up. I don't wear it often buttoned up unless I'm bloody cold or I'm wearing a coat, because I took this to the UK as well. I wore a coat with it a lot. It's just so useful. I can wear it with almost everything, I think. Probably not these shorts, but here we are. Here we go. Button it up. I don't know. I always feel like I look like Arved from Community when I wear a button-up V-neck sweater cardigan. But nonetheless, it's really cute. And I recommend this pattern so much. It's now on 5.5mm needles, meaning it's a really quick knit, even though I started it before my green sweater and then decided to finish it afterwards. I don't know why. I think I was just more motivated by the color than knitting with black. Not that motivating. I didn't find it too hard because it's such a big needle size. But yeah, the Raglans are really simple. I definitely found that, yeah, it is quite trickier to do the increases for the V-neck as well, but I appreciate someone else doing the maths than me, because I had to go making a V-neck sweater before this, and I did the maths, and like it was working, but it just took me a while. And I don't like doing algebra to knit. But yeah, this double knitting, I'm so glad I learned that technique. It looks so nice and clean. It looks like a store-bought sweater, and I love it. I did weave these ends in. I've just been leaving them like really long tails because I'm scared of them popping out the other end. So I promise it's weaved in. I love this guy. But yeah, and I did this Italian bind off on the cuffs this time, but I'm pretty sure I did a plain one on the bottom after the bad experience with the other one. But to be honest, it hasn't led to any issues. This grew in blocking, and I was so happy. So did this guy. So it's giving me a lot of relief for another sweater I'm knitting right now, the Ingrid sweater, that will blocks and it will get bigger. And that means less knitting in a weird way. But yeah, this is my most recent sweater. Honestly, not that recent. It's gotten tons of worn. I've just had a lot of things on my needles. Not promptly on my needles or in and out. I have a dull sometimes when it comes to knitting. And we went to the UK and I was gonna knit sweaters there, but I knit socks instead. It's the reason there's less stuff here, I think. I started knitting socks. But yeah, that is all the garments I have ever knitted. I can pick them all up. Oh. The colors are all bright. There's not a single beige sweater here yet. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I think I didn't count how many garments that is, but there's quite a few. I should be proud of it. I'm like very happy with it all. But yeah, those are all the sweaters I've ever knitted. Hope you enjoyed. You can find me on Instagram as Evan in the Wilds at Instagram. I wanted to say at gmail.com, but that's not true. But yeah, you can find me there and here. I will say my Instagram is mainly animation and art stuff. I've been kind of using it as a portfolio, but there are knitting stories there, and I might even just make a new knitting Instagram eventually. But yeah, thank you for watching. Also, thank you to everyone who watched my last video. The couple of comments I got was really motivating. I really appreciated it. I don't think this is going to become a huge thing or anything like that, but I'm just glad that I wanted to do the next one. So yeah, we'll be having a podcast soon enough, probably 2 weeks from now-ish, give or take. I'm starting uni next week, so things might move slower. This was literally the first time I got a chance to film another video, so the gaps might be a bit all over the place. But I'm hoping to get it like 2 weeks to 3 weeks videos. But yeah, thank you for watching. yeah, and come back soon. I'll make another one, and I have a previous podcast video. If you don't know, you can watch that. Okay, have a good day.